So Mario Balotelli is a Liverpool player. Jamie, £16 million, a long-term contract. Good business or a big gamble?
I think it's both, but I think looking at the situation, Liverpool were in 1 week till the window shuts. They need a striker, and you're getting the Italian #1 striker for 16 million. You look at the prices. There's a fella in the Championship, McCormack of Fulham's gone for 12 million. So in terms of business, I think it is good business from them, Liverpool, but there has got to be a worry signing Balotelli. There's a reason he costs 16 million and he's moved so often within his career already, so that is a problem for Liverpool.
We'll pause there for a moment, Jamie, because we can ask him. Brendan Rodgers is at the Etihad waiting to speak to us. Brendan, you've got your man. How happy are you about that? And what does Balotelli give extra to your squad?
Trouble. Listen, I think Jamie's just hit the nail on the head there. First and foremost, I look at the talent, and he's a wonderful talent. As you say, we potentially have the England #9 striker and the Italian #9 striker playing for us. But listen, there's no doubt he's at a stage in his career where this might be his last chance at a big club, because he needs to settle down, show maturity. And I've worked with those types of players all my life, from when I worked in youth coaching. I never ever had the finished article, and that's how at times I like it. He's got huge potential, but needs to come to Liverpool and be consistent. And if we can do that, then we've got one hell of a player.
You certainly have, Brendan. And in the last few days, there's been all sorts of talk about clauses, meetings with the player as well. What convinced you to take the risk?
I think most players, I always like to sit down and look in their eye and see the honesty and the humility that they have. And I think when I sat with him, I spent the bit of time with him, about 3.5 hours, just talking through, Liverpool is it's a massive club, and it's a different club. It's a family club with strong family values, and as I said, behaviour is very, very important here. But as I said, it was also about the football element. I think we can help improve his game, improve the consistency in his game. And as I said, he was ready to take on that challenge. He's a very bright boy. He was very clever. He understood, where he's at this point in his career, and he knows himself this is probably his last chance. But a real good guy. I'm excited to work with him, because that's the type of talent I like to work with. Someone that we can improve, both as a football player and as a person.
Brendan, you've lost Suarez, you've brought in Balotelli. Remembering last season, the way Liverpool played, the fast pace, the starts to games, do you think Balotelli can still provide that, what we've lost now in Luis Suarez?
Yeah, I think so, Jamie. I think it's one where, we're going to show him, a lot of our work and a lot of the clips that we demand from our front players and wide players in terms of that transition. So he's one that he's obviously super quick himself. He's strong, he's powerful. But I think that's an element of the game that, I think he can improve massively on, is that transitional moment from losing the ball to getting it back. So I think, as I said, he will offer us that for sure, but there's no doubt he needs work on it. But that's the nature of our game. I think the best teams, they start quick and they finish strong, and it's something that we've become better at over the 2 years I've been here.
One thing you did last season, Brendan, was cause Manchester City problems, both in the game at the Etihad and at Anfield. How are you going to do that again tonight?
Well, the idea is to, first, you respect the opponent and you understand their qualities. They're an excellent squad that's been built up over here for the last 4 or 5 seasons. So, as I said, we always offer them that respect. But for us, it's very much about our game, to really impose our style on whichever stadium we play in. And obviously these are a very good side here, but for us it's about going in and looking to get on the ball and penetrate quickly, and obviously defend strongly.
Thanks, Brendan. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, Brendan.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Gary, that was a brilliant first answer. Trouble. He also said about the meeting. They obviously met for a long time, 3.5 hours, looked him in the eye. What do you make of it?
Well, the most important thing that he said that Balotelli himself realises where he's at. Manchester City are a better football club for not having Balotelli, and I'll throw Tevez in there as well. They definitely were a massive distraction. And I think when you've got these maverick players, and Brendan said that he worked with them as youth players that weren't the finished article, you've always got to weigh up the positives that they bring against the negatives. And certainly in Manchester last time, and particularly in that second season, Mancini was having to make different rules for him. There were a lot of good players in the squad. He was having to move different players out of different positions, and he became a massive distraction to the whole club and to the whole squad. It was constant all the time. if he settles down, I've got in the back of my mind Euro 2012, when I sort of slightly changed my mind. I didn't rate him that much, to be honest with you, at Manchester City, but in Euro 2012, when he plays against England, against Ashley Cole and John Terry down that left side, he was absolutely fantastic. If he can produce that level of performance, he can get it out of him consistently, he's got a play. I mean, in terms of value, he's got 2 or 3 defenders tonight in the back four that have actually cost more than Balotelli. So in terms of value, if he can get that player out of him, he's up, but he needs to get rid of the rubbish that existed last time when he was at City.
Well, I agree with Gary there. If we see the Balotelli Euro 2012, I'd say, you know, great sign. I've spoke about the price before, but I don't want to see the Balotelli that I saw at City in a Liverpool shirt, petulant, stupid, sendings off, walking about. I played against him 2 or 3 times, done nothing in the game, and you knew if you got tight to him, you put him under pressure, he'd fall out of the game. We've got to see more than that.